joins us now, a man who needs no introduction, a true patriot who they're trying to make a political prisoner simply for standing up for the sovereignty of the president and the executive branch. Steve, we could talk about so many facets of this, but for me, it's the deep state desperate, trying to finish their coup, trying to secure the last stolen elections so they can steal the midterm and the general elections in 2 years. This, to me, is a sign of major desperation, and they're trying to make you a political prisoner right now. I am very honored to be in the same company with you, being persecuted as well. Thank you, Stephen Bannon.
No, Alex, I think you've nailed it. What people are not talking about enough is that this is desperation. They've tried everything else. Look, you see what they're doing to you. The world sees what they're doing to you right now. They've been doing it to Trump, and this is a desperate move to send a bunch of jackboot. Look, the FBI is now a new American Gestapo. All the great legacy they had of anti-communism and what they did for the good of this country over many decades has just been thrown in the trash heap over the last 10, 20 years. And this is outrageous to desecrate one of the most iconic buildings in this country, much less a presidential residence, and to do it the way they did it with, up armored, with weapons drawn, cracking the safe, all this drama to try to show a point. It's an act of desperation. Here's why, Alex. They've checked the numbers. They realize this fiasco of spending, the spending and tax orgy that has passed means nothing to the people in this country. The polling's horrible. They're about to get the tables run on them by MAGA in what, less than 90 days. We will take over. Donald Trump will announce and be the next president. And so they're pulling out all stops. And look, you said it. Bernie Kerik's a very serious guy. He's not a guy who's into conspiracies. He's a very straightforward former police commissioner. And I agree. I do not think it's beyond this administrative state and their deep state apparatus to actually try to work on the assassination of President Trump. I think everything's on the table. I think his security ought to be at the highest it's ever been. And honestly, I think he ought to, and I think he should have flown down to Mar A-Largo this morning, walked out there at noon today and said, hey, I'm running for president of the United States. Suck on that.
Well, that was my next question. As his former top advisor, what should Trump be doing right now?
I think what he should do is action, action, action. I don't think there should be any more of the tweets, no more of the true social stuff. That's all nice. They put out a video last night. No more videos. We're beyond that. They're trying to not just put you in bankruptcy. They're trying to liquidate InfoWars, which is obviously one of the major news sources out there for the MAGA movement. They're trying to liquidate InfoWars. They're putting Peter Navarro in chains like a common felon. What they did to President Trump is outrageous. Look, you're playing it right now. I think it's a beautiful film, and I appreciate the people that made it. We're beyond that.
I agree. We need to see the general George Washington 2.0 in the field, taking it to him.
He needs to get to Mar A-Lago, the exact place that they desecrated, because it was a desecration. They did it on purpose. They understand how Mar A-Lago resonates to not just MAGA, but to the American people, one of the great buildings in this country. And we've had so many iconic moments there with President Xi and Abe, who just passed away. The moment of standing up to the North Koreans on their missile shoot. So many important things happened there. To go and desecrate it the way they did, particularly over this administrative issue with the National Archives, that clearly they're, as you know, Alex, on a fishing expedition or on a planning expedition. I wouldn't put it past them to have planned stuff. This is a criminal. The FBI and the DOJ are essentially lawless criminal organizations.
That's key. Let's start over there, because you're laying out a lot of key things second by second. Exactly. How do we know 100 agents in there with their long history of planning things didn't plant something classified?
You're absolutely right. 100 guys, or how many guys they had, they're all over the building all at one time. You had a few Secret Service people there. I think Eric Trump and a few administrative people were there. But you don't know. You got to be watching them the entire time, as you know. I mean, we got swatted a couple of weeks ago, and when guys go through to do their thing, you got to keep the hairy eyeball on them. I don't think it's anything beyond any group that would go to a magistrate, not the federal judge in charge of this, but go to a magistrate who, oh, by the way, has deep relationships with Epstein and other nefarious characters, to go to him, to go to a magistrate, not even a real federal judge, but a federal magistrate, to get him to sign off on this, and then to go in there like they did, completely lawless,
But what you hit is so key. Planting, they don't even need to plant it there. They hauled off dozens of boxes. God knows, if we don't think leftist bureaucrats are going to plant something, we're crazy. They just lied last week and said they had my phone. CNN reported 2 hours ago they do not have my phone. Yeah, I know they don't. They just made that up, Steve. I mean, they'll make anything up.
You said that a couple of times. You said it on our show. I'm glad the fake news is finally catching up with. No, they could put in an SITK document in the middle of it and say, oh, this was something, some war plan against North Korea. They could do anything. They could plant things. They could put bugs. I think the whole thing's got to be swept, double swept. You can't look. They're the new American Gestapo. And it hurts me to say this as a kid growing up as an Irish Catholic kid in Richmond. There's so many, individuals, the Irish Catholics who were, the mix who were FBI agents. And so it hurts me to say this. And I know there's a lot of great whistleblowers there, but the agency's turned to the new American Gestapo.
All right, Steve Bannon, literally 1776 mastermind, with us right now. Warroom.org. We'll be right back and cover the waterfront with Stephen K. Bannon. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us.